The courtroom looked like a crime scene of loyalty. Cameras flashing, tears falling, and T.I. sitting there calm as ever until he dropped the bomb that blew up the internet. I'm married, but not to Tiny. Nah, to her best friend. Her ride or die, her sister in everything but blood, and when that ring caught the light, you could feel the whole room stop breathing. What happened next turned love into a headline, and betrayal into the most viral moment of 2025. The courtroom was supposed to be a place of justice, but that day it felt like a public execution. Cameras didn't just capture the law, they captured heartbreak in 4K. Tiny walked in wearing quiet strength, the kind that hides under heavy makeup and a trembling smile. She was ready to fight for her truth. But what she did not know was that this truth was about to bury her alive. When T leaned forward, eyes calm, voice steady, and said the words, "I am married," it was not just a confession. It was a dagger, sharpened and deliberate, and the world stopped breathing. You could almost hear the silence. Then came the chaos, gasps, phones lifted like weapons, reporters whispering the word exclusive. But the real explosion came seconds later when everyone realized who he was married to. Not a stranger, not a fan, but her best friend, Shakina, the woman who once stood beside her through every storm. Who once swore, "If Tiny cries, I cry." Now she was wearing the ring that was never meant for her. The same ring that once symbolized Tiny's forever. Tiny's knees buckled before the shock could even leave her lips. Her lawyers rushed forward, but the damage was already done. And as her body hit the marble floor, every flashbulb turned her pain into a headline. "Tiny collapses in court," screamed the blogs, pretending to care, when all they really cared about was the clicks. This is what fame does. It does not comfort you when you bleed. It photographs you. It monetizes your heartbreak. In the footage, you can see the moment her world cracks. Shakina stands across the room smiling, not the sweet smile of a friend. The kind of smile that says, "I won." Cold, perfect. Cinematic revenge disguised as romance. The internet exploded. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all flooded with disbelief. No way, not Shakina. This has to be fake. But it was real. It was televised. It was permanent. Tiny silence made the noise even louder. 4 hours. She just sat there, her hands still clutching a stack of legal documents. Prenups, custody papers, settlement forms, things meant to protect her, not destroy her. But what she didn't know was that across the hallway, T was turning her heartbreak into his comeback. Cameras, interviews, a new documentary. The man wasn't filing for divorce. He was filming it. He wasn't seeking peace. He was scripting pity. And then came the ultimate twist, the new wife reveal. There she was, Shakina, walking into the courtroom in Tiny's favorite designer dress, wearing the same cross pendant Tiny had gifted her years ago after their family hustle tour. That cross, once a symbol of sisterhood, now looked like a trophy for betrayal. The internet called it poetic evil. Insiders claimed Tiny had suspected something for months. Strange phone calls, missing jewelry, lies that sounded too practiced. But every time she confronted Shakina, she would just laugh. "Girl, you are overthinking the audacity." And T, he played his part like a chess master, posting captions like, "Real love doesn't hide," while secretly setting the stage for his new queen. When the truth broke, it was not messy. It was organized, clean, like a performance, the kind that makes you question whether love ever existed at all. People inside the courtroom said Shakina never looked away from Tiny, like she wanted her to feel every ounce of humiliation. Her smile wasn't an accident. It was an announcement. I am her replacement. Outside, fans lost their minds. One TikTok clip showed a woman screaming, "Not Shakina, anybody but her." Another viral edit compared old clips of them laughing together. Two sisters who swore loyalty against that courtroom footage. Comment sections turned into war zones. She was plotting from day one. Tiny fed that girl and she bit her hand clean off. But the most haunting comment of all read, "Imagine calling your best friend your maid of honor, only for her to become the wife." That line alone broke the internet. Then came the receipts. Alleged DMs leaked late-night messages between T and Shakina. "You understand me better than she ever did," he wrote. "She doesn't deserve you," she replied. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Twitter detectives compared timestamps, reflections in mirrors, even matching outfits in background photos. It wasn't gossip anymore. It was digital forensics. Tiny's silence only fueled the obsession. For 2 whole days, she said nothing. TMZ ran headlines. Tiny under medical care after courtroom breakdown. Meanwhile, T.I. posted a photo holding Shakina's hand beside a Rolls-Royce, captioned, "God's plan always wins." The audacity was biblical. Fans unfollowed in rage, but he didn't care. The engagement was through the roof, because in Hollywood, even heartbreak is a marketing strategy. And just when the internet thought it had seen it all, another twist. A mysterious audio clip leaked, a voice allegedly Shakina's saying, "She should have known I'd get tired of playing the side." The internet erupted again. Was it real? AI generated? It didn't matter. The damage was done. Shakina was now the villain. And Tiny, the fallen queen. Podcasts, gossip blogs, YouTube reactors, everyone had something to say. Reaction channels replayed her collapse in slow motion. Hashtags like "near betrayed by my best friend" trended for days. And finally, after a silence that felt like years, Tiny spoke, not through a post, through tears on live TV. Her voice cracked as she said, "I gave that girl everything. My loyalty, my friendship, my platform, and she gave me pain in return." That moment broke hearts across the world. 10 million views overnight. The internet flooded with crying emojis, hearts, and words of support. Some said she looked broken. Others said she looked reborn. But one truth stood out. Nobody deserves betrayal like that. Still, the internet moved on because that is what it does. The sympathy faded. The skepticism rose. Was this staged? Is T.I. promoting a show? Is this all PR? And that is the curse of fame. When pain becomes performance and heartbreak becomes content, every tear turns into a thumbnail. Every betrayal becomes a trending sound. By the week's end, news sources claimed the secret wedding had happened months before on a luxury island with celebrity guests sworn to silence. The names dropped were shocking. DJ Drama, 2 Chainz, Monica allegedly all in attendance. One producer told Gossip Spill, T.I. said he was tired of hiding. He wanted to prove a point. But what point? That love is disposable. That betrayal is the new currency of fame, because if this story proves anything, it is that in today's world, loyalty does not die quietly. It gets likes, it gets shared, and it goes viral. Tiny's team tried to rewrite the story, posting soft quotes about rebirth, healing, and letting go. But the internet was not ready to move on. It smelled blood and it wanted more. Just as her fans began to breathe, new leaks dropped like digital grenades, financial documents, bank transfers, screenshots of T.I. allegedly moving assets to Shakina weeks before the courtroom bombshell. The receipts were everywhere. Signatures, timestamps, account names. Fans zoomed in, circled details, made slow-motion breakdowns on TikTok. The verdict: this was never spontaneous. It was a setup, a performance, a public execution disguised as closure. One person close to Tiny whispered to Gossip Spill, "She's not sleeping. She keeps replaying that moment." The way he said "my wife" so casually. The way Shakina smirked like she won something. But what did she really win? A man or a lifetime of side eyes from a world that will never let her forget? Because if there is one thing the internet never forgives, it is a betrayal that happens on camera. Then came the clip that shattered whatever sympathy Shakina still had left. Paparazzi caught her outside a restaurant. Flashes went off. Someone shouted, "Do you feel guilty?" And she laughed before saying, "Guilt is for broke people." That one line flipped the internet upside down. It was arrogance in HD. Fans flooded timelines with fury. Even neutral watchers drew the line. The betrayal had evolved. It was no longer personal. It was cultural, proof that in Hollywood, friendship isn't loyalty. It's PR with better lighting. And yet, no one looked away because betrayal sells. Heartbreak trends. Everyone says they hate it, but secretly they are addicted to the fall. Tiny's loss had become the world's favorite drama. Every camera followed her like a shadow, sunglasses on, silence thick as grief as she left the courthouse. But make no mistake, this was not over. It was just the second act. Because the internet doesn't heal, it hunts. And within 24 hours, a new wave of exclusive leaks swept across timelines like wildfire. Screenshots, voice notes, blurry clips, everyone more damning than the last. One insider claiming to work on T.I.'s production crew told Gossip Bill Vibe, he planned that courtroom stunt for months. He literally said, "I want the world to see real power." Another source from Shakina's circle bragged that she had been calling herself Mrs. King long before the marriage reveal. Whether real or not didn't matter. On social media, drama doesn't need evidence. It only needs timing. Soon, every gossip page became a battlefield. Team Tiny fans posted old photos of the two women laughing together, captioned, "You can't fake that much love unless you practice betrayal." Meanwhile, "You can't fake that much love unless you practice betrayal." Meanwhile, Team TI defenders claimed Tiny got too comfortable and Shekinah just knew how to treat a king. One viral tweet read, "Tiny taught Shekinah everything, including how to steal her man." 10,000 retweets, 20,000 comments. Every click feeding the fire. Then came the nuke, an alleged leaked audio from TI's studio. His voice saying, "Tiny was my past. Shekinah is my peace." Whether AI generated or real, it hit like a bullet. Reaction channels lost their minds. Podcasts dropped emergency episodes. TikTok detectives analyzed the clip for hours, matching background echoes to his Atlanta studio. The obsession was biblical, but that's the algorithm. It rewards heartbreak wrapped as entertainment. Tiny's silence became its own ghost. She vanished from social media, and her millions of followers turned feral. Fake Tiny Speaks Out accounts popped up overnight, posting cryptic captions like "Loyalty never needed a camera." Some fans believed it was really her. Others called it clout chasing. But every post went viral because the internet was not searching for truth anymore. It was searching for a villain, a victim, and a twist. Behind the scenes, chaos was boiling. Insiders whispered about NDAs and damage control, lawyers drafting contracts. A leaked email thread showed TI's team pitching exclusive interview rights to major networks, promising raw emotion. Real love, one man's redemption arc. That single word, redemption, enraged Tiny supporters, because while she was still bleeding, he was scripting his comeback. Meanwhile, Shekinah wasn't hiding. She was glowing, posing in photo oots, dropping reels titled "New Beginnings," tagging luxury brands like Versace and Balenciaga as if heartbreak was her runway. One caption read, "They said I couldn't sit with them, so I married the head of the table." That line alone poured gasoline on the fire. Every smile, every pose, every post felt like she was twisting the knife just to make sure Tiny never healed. And then the internet detonated again. A new leak, the friendship files, a compilation of unseen clips allegedly pulled from Tiny's private phone backups, late-night FaceTime calls, hotel room videos, screenshots of texts, some real, some heavily edited. But one 6-second audio destroyed everything. A blurry clip of Shekinah's voice whispering. He said, "I'm the one." That was all it took. Hashtags like "Not," Shekinah exposed, and Yimao's Tiny deserved better dominated Twitter for 3 straight days. Celebrities joined in. Cardi B tweeted, "This some next-level betrayal, chilly." Tamar Braxton posted, "Ain't no pain like a sister turning snake." Within hours, gossip blogs were treating it like the Super Bowl of heartbreak. By the weekend, Tiny's PR team released a carefully worded statement. She is focusing on healing and family. But fans didn't want healing. They wanted revenge. Fake posts began spreading claims that Tiny had filed a lawsuit for emotional damages, that she had hired private investigators to audit Shekinah's finances. Nothing was verified, but everything was believable. Because in Hollywood, even lies feel cinematic. Anonymous court insiders began leaking more fuel. One claimed TI offered Tiny a 7-figure payout and partial rights to her endorsements in exchange for her silence. Another said he threatened to expose old secrets if she didn't sign. Nothing confirmed, everything viral. Gossip accounts reposted every line with captions like "sources say," the phrase that turns rumor into gospel. And while fans dissected every screenshot like archaeologists of pain, something darker began to unfold offline. Outside the Atlanta courthouse, protesters appeared, some holding signs reading, "Justice for Tiny," and others screaming, "Let Shekinah live." Paparazzi captured it all. The shouting, the tears, and then the moment 2 fans threw punches in the street. The scandal had escaped the screen. It was no longer a story. It was a war. By the time TMZ labeled it a public breakdown of parasocial loyalty, the world was already addicted. Translation: millions of strangers were grieving over a love story that was never theirs. And the chaos was printing money for everyone involved. Every click, every share, every broken heart was another data point in the algorithm of pain. And right in the middle of it all stood T unbothered, champagne glass in hand, smiling like a man who just sold his soul for engagement. He posted a reel with Shekinah to Drake's nonstop captioned, "They mad, we happy." Within minutes, his comment section became a digital riot. Fans demanded apologies, explanations, anything. Instead, he pinned a comment that read, "Energy stays expensive." That line alone was enough to relight the entire internet on fire. Podcasts, gossip shows, reaction channels, everyone had something to say. Maze and Cameron joked on air. Bro turned heartbreak into a mixtape. Shade Room reposted it, and the numbers went through the roof. But behind those curated smiles and viral reels, insiders whispered that all was not as perfect as it seemed. One assistant spilled to a gossip outlet. He loves the drama until the cameras turn off. Then he goes quiet, cold. Another stylist claimed Shakina was spiraling. Paranoid, checking his phone daily, terrified he might do to her exactly what they did to Tiny. And that is the thing about betrayal. It has a boomerang effect. You can throw it far, but it always comes back with precision. Karma had not clocked out. It was just getting started. While their world burned publicly, Tiny was rebuilding privately. She started therapy, cut off toxic ties, spent real time with her children. Friends said she was trying to breathe again, to live beyond the hashtags, but the world would not let her rest. Every paparazzi flash, every exclusive headline, every podcast intro was a reminder that her pain had become pop culture. She had become the poster child for betrayal. The woman who lost her family and her friend in front of the world. Yet she refused to clap back. According to a close friend, Tiny simply said, "I don't need to respond." The truth claps loud enough. That one sentence broke the internet again. It became a TikTok audio, a meme, a slogan printed on hoodies that read, "The truth claps loud enough." For a moment, people loved her again. But internet sympathy has a short shelf life. Just as compassion returned, a new YouTube video appeared out of nowhere, the real reason Tiny collapsed. The voice behind it claimed to have hospital documents suggesting her collapse was not just emotional. It was medical. A stress-induced heart episode, the narrator said. True or not, it hit hard. Fans flooded the comments, horrified that her heartbreak had literally broken her heart. Pray for Tiny trended worldwide for 48 hours. Then T.I. dropped a single called Closure. The lyrics, "They can judge, they can hate, but my queen's still by my side." It was both a taunt and a marketing stunt so cold it could freeze fire. The audacity was unbelievable. Each verse sounded less like music and more like manipulation.